Alright, so this is going to be a demonstration on how to use the auto rigger tool that I made for the class. Um, so under the Anim School Automation folder, you have biped rig tools, and under the models directory, I have a sample file. This is where I sort of did all my work. So if I open this up, an important thing to note here is that you can't click and drag that into the scene. I've been working with it just by opening it up like this. That looks right. Oh, and click don't save. Okay, so this is the starting point before using the auto rigger tool, and I was able to get it to a point where you just have the geometry, no joints or anything like that. The only thing to really note here is that for the face rig, I have a head geometry piece that has been blend shaped to this thing here. Okay, so that's my starting point. And then to open up the UI, I'm going to go to the script editor, and I'm going to run the rig tools UI, and that will pop up this little window here. This window is divided into three main sections. This top section here deals with importing the skeleton and then the positioning locators. And you'll see like examples of all that here. This middle section deals with creating the animation and deformation rigs. And then this bottom section will allow you to bind the deformation rig to the animation rig and then unbind it. So to begin with, I'm going to import this, the joints and locators. One other thing to note here is that I've gone ahead and removed the student licensing from each of the MA files so that I don't get that little pop-up whenever I import an MA file. So if I click body, it will import the stuff. I can click neck, hands, face, and then I'll go through and build out the rest of these. These are grayed out for now because I haven't built a rig that, for the nose, the cheeks, the tongue, the ears. The only thing I've done for the face are the eyes, brows, mouth, and jaw. The other thing is you're only able to import something one time, and so now that an object exists in the scene, if I were to click on body, it will gray that out, and then the same for the remaining buttons. So that is to act as sort of like a safety measure so that you don't continuously import stuff. For the build rigs, I'm going to click on create animation rig, and it will build the setup that's been happening here. And similar to how these buttons work, if I were to click on this again, it'll gray that out. And then lastly, I'll click on create deformation rig and click that again to gray it out. And if I open up this rig group, I will have the animation rig and then the deformation rig under here. As such. All right. The main goal that I had here was to be able to get it to a point where I can do my skinning, like my weight painting and everything like that, and then my corrective shapes, blend shapes, that sort of thing. So this tool is basically designed to sort of help me build out the rig, and then I can do, any sort of weight painting that I want on, say, these joints here, or whatever. So with these two buttons here, I think the easiest way to demonstrate these is to actually have this skin moving a bit. So I'm going to open up the deformation rig, and I'm going to select all of my skinning joints. and then select the mesh and just pop over to the rigging tab and go skin, bind skin. Okay, and obviously the weight, the skinning is just going to be whatever the defaults are, but you can kind of see, actually no, you can't see because I haven't clicked on bind deformation rig to animation rig. So I'll go ahead and do that. And now if I move that around, you can kind of see like the rig moving. Not the eyes or anything like that, because I've only bound the one mesh. But yeah, it just works like you know, your regular biped rig would work. Okay, and to unbind it, I'm going to click this button. But these buttons are intended to be run when the model is in like its default pose, because all this is going to do is it's going to get rid of these parent constraints like that. So I wouldn't want to do that in an odd position because I wouldn't be able to get this stuff back properly. So bind, unbind. Let's see, is there anything else to say? No, that's basically the tool. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is this is how the auto rigger tool works, and I'm just about to start. This is, you know, like for after the class is over, but I'm about to start the animator UI. So I've got like the general like framework for that here, and then this would be a UI that an animator would use to help work with the rig. Right now these buttons don't do anything, but I just thought it would be a little bit fun to sort of show what I'm going to work on for the next part. So I have a left arm, a right arm, a left leg, and a right leg, and they're all very similar. And I was going to learn how to make these menus collapsible. And if I cover up like all of that, this is how like a typical menu would work, where you can match FK to IK or IK to FK. Select the FK controls, IK controls, or both of them, and then set keys on them. So I was going to continue with what was taught in this class to be able to build out a little animator UI thing. But you know, as said, the main tool built for this class was the rig tools UI. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.